No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together.
Welcome to So Happy Together. My name is Kirby Lammers.
And I am Lisette Lammers. Welcome.
Welcome, and glad you're with us today.
Yes.
For another episode. And so what we've been doing, we're running a series on what the proper building materials are to build on top of a firm foundation.
There you go.
So you have a great, quality, fun, loving relationship, and everything doesn't start tumbling down. But we've got to have the right foundation to start with to build upon. And
That's right.
You have a scripture today about foundation.
I do have a scripture today because we, as you know, we're Christians and we build our lives on Jesus, and in the Bible it says He is the rock, and you want to build your firm foundation on the rock. Because in Matthew 7:24 through 25, and I'm quoting Jesus here, Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against the house, and yet it didn't fall because it had its foundation on the rock.
Okay.
That's true, because Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's already in tomorrow. He already knows what we need. He is there for us. We are His joy. He wants us to have relationship with Him so that we can be close to Him and know that He is our strength and He is our rock, Kirby.
Right. So He didn't build it on quicksand.
He didn't build it on quicksand. No, He doesn't want us to have the house of cards. But He does ask us to be obedient and obey His commands and have faith. And that's really what He asks of us. And that's how you build a firm foundation, by listening to the Lord and following what He wants us to do for His purposes.
Yeah. Hey, people have asked us, are y'all holy rollers? And
are we holy
we
rollers?
laugh.
But I mean, I don't care.
Well, it's okay. The thing is, I would consider us holy rollers. However, we tried other relationships in the past, and we did not have God first, and they just didn't work. We don't go around preaching to everybody, and we're not preaching to you. We're just sharing with you what has worked in our relationship. It's up to you what your beliefs are and so forth. But we're sharing what has strengthened our relationship and why we stayed married this time versus before it didn't quite work out. And then God did bring us together. So I mean, we have to give Him all the glory. So that's what it's about. We're just real people like you. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. Are you any of those?
No, we're just giving you real information from our experiences. As I admitted in the last show, I've been married. Kirby is my third husband, and I know. Oops. But
I've been married a few times too.
I know. He's not perfect either.
No, we're not perfect people.
We're not perfect people.
No, we're not.
But we found each other, and we want to love each other and really find a way. But I mean, we want to have. I don't know. I found that the best way to have happiness in life and in marriage is to know your purposes, because, Kirby, I want to tell my story. I was standing and I've worked retail, I've done makeup, I've been a trainer. He's going to tell a funny story on me later. And I'm standing in Neiman Marcus, and Kirby and I, as y'all know us from Facebook and friends, that he and I are heavily involved in a children's charity camp that his best friends Bill and Nash started, called Champions Kids Camp.
Bill and Kim Nash.
Bill and Kim Nash. We love them.
ChampionsKidsCamp.org. I'm showing it right here. Yeah.
And so all these years, I came to help for registration. I would donate auction items. I've been doing several things for the camp, but not really stepping in because I traveled a lot for work. And I remember the day I was standing in Neiman Marcus, and he says, and the Holy Spirit, you're going to hear Him down in here, and He says, you need to be at camp. And I said, Lord, I'm supposed to be working. He goes, no, you need to be at camp. And I was like, okay, next year I'm going to go to camp. Well, I'll give you the fast version, but basically I found my purpose because I listened to the Holy Spirit. I was a dorm mom for 3 years, And I said, okay, I've got to find my purpose. And I started, as y'all have seen it on Facebook, but it's my little beauty pageant that I do for the girls.
It's not so little anymore.
For 80 girls. It's quite an undertaking, but I've had a lot of help over the years. And one day I'm driving on 290, and of course you can always find me on 290, and he says, they need dresses. And I'm like, I don't know how to sew. What am I going to do? How am I going to make 80 dresses? Well, you know what? He put Becky Hollins in my life.
Yeah.
And
Fashion
she's a
designer.
Fashion designer, couture designer, and so
Hi,
many people. Hi, Becky. So many people helped us and got this pageant going. And I just wanted to give example of how I've built my life on the rock and the firm foundation, because I wanted to follow my purpose of what he'd called for me to do.
That's right.
And I'm very grateful, and I love the camp. I love those kids, and it's really just filled me with a lot of joy, true joy.
These kids are survivor children. They're survivors of an accident, an illness such as cancer, a loss of a loved one, or they've been through major devastation that has led to emotional scarring. So it's a camp for emotional scarring. And so this camp has been in existence for 20 years. So been volunteering all this time with our best friends in the whole wide world.
It's a great organization.
And we'll have them on soon, by the way, and we'll interview them. They have a very unique relationship story, and they've been married a lot longer than us. Anyway, a ton of wisdom will come from them. It's Bill and Kim Nash. So let's get on with this show.
Let's get in with the show.
So we're going to talk, what are the building materials? So there's many. But right now, it's going to be, I'll make it a little bit easier to remember, about 5 of them. I'll call them the 5 C's. The 5 C's, okay? And so the first one is called communication. Communication. So it's important that we know how to communicate.
Yes. In every marriage, if you don't have great communication, it's not going to do very well.
You built your foundation on quicksand.
Yeah, exactly.
But communication is one of the leading materials, one of those first things that you would build on top of your firm foundation, on top of the rock.
That's right.
And so it doesn't come tumbling down. However, how we communicate makes a huge difference. So we want to provide really fun, supportive communication, right? All right.
You're the best, honey.
Well, so is it productive communication, or is it
unproductive
or destructive?
Or destructive, right. Exactly.
Destructive communication. Maybe we just need to stop and think before we communicate sometimes, because many times we just react.
Okay, fine. I don't want to talk about it, and you run to your room. Well, okay, you just reacted.
You just shut off the communication.
Just shut off the communication, that's right.
So maybe we need to think and go, am I reacting? Or maybe we need to have plans in place so we're proactive versus reactive. And when we talk as a couple for relationship, what can we do to be proactive versus reactive? Because many times it's just like, and you're shut off.
I'm shut off. Boy, you know that.
I mean, instant pooty, that's what we called the last show, okay? So anyway.
Nobody likes instant pooty.
Let's think about, before we speak, what's a proactive way? What can we do to offer support? What can we do to maybe come together and figure out a solution? How can we come together and just communicate effectively, where you're talking about what to do with a child that's misbehaved, or what to do about something that happened in your job. What if you just lost your job, like many have? And I'm sorry if you have.
I'm so sorry.
God has a better plan. Anyway, so
He does.
Come together, find a way to communicate effectively in a productive manner.
There you go.
So it's not destructive and tearing down the relationship. You're going to hear me say often, either you're building the relationship up or you're tearing it down. In so many occasions in the past, I found that maybe I was tearing it down a little bit. And so I need to find ways to build and build upon a foundation. When we got married, we said some things called vows, right?
That's right.
Did we really mean it?
Yes.
Of course we did. But how many times have I been married that apparently it didn't mean anything to the other, okay?
That's right.
And it's always meant something to me. finally I found a person that meant something to.
That's right. Because marriage you think is love, but it's being committed to those vows that you set on your wedding day.
Right. So you're setting your foundation
That's
right there.
Right
You're
then and there.
building on that rock.
I know. So maybe a productive communication could be, okay, instead of me, reacting and being all like this, and maybe I'm crying and I'm upset about something, but Kirby will come and put his arm around me and say, hey, what's the matter? Let's talk about this.
Right.
And that to me is more of a productive
Instead of,
communication.
I'm not going to be anywhere around here, I'm out of here.
And take it out on him and all that stuff. And because we find a way to still, either give the person space. We've talked about that, going to the cave and all that. But at the same time, we want to be communicative and really talk to our spouse. And those loving eyes, the smile, like we always talk about.
Yeah. Communication is how you look at the other. It's not just what you say. Sometimes it's how you say it, or it's how you look when you say it.
Exactly.
And so, are you looking directly? Are you smiling? Are you in alignment with your entire body? We'll talk about that many times, as we have in the past shows. But make sure you're in full alignment. Your mouth, your eyes, your hand movements, your posturing, everything aligns with what those words are coming out of your mouth. Then you're believable, and what it does, it builds trust.
So what's your next C, Kirby?
All right, the next C is called compromise. Oh, many times. Okay.
Oh no,
many times we're caught in an uncompromising situation. So anyway, you don't work out a compromise, and sometimes it's just agree to disagree.
Yeah, that happens.
Right? You have your views and your values, and I have my views and my values, and go, okay, I see it a different way, you see it a different way. Let's just agree we're going to be disagreeing with this. That's okay, but we're going to go on. We still love each other. That is fine. Because we have different conditioning, different thoughts. You're female, I'm male. We think differently. We just think that. One day we're going to make spaghetti for these people, and we're going to go through a whole other thing about how we're so different. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
That'll be fun.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Her in the kitchen.
Me in the kitchen is hilarious.
It is.
We can have a whole other show just on that.
Exactly. So anyway, but how to compromise. So we had a situation. And I just turned 67. Finally turned 67. We've been talking about it for 2 months.
April 29th. You had a wonderful birthday.
I had a wonderful birthday. The only thing I just missed my mom.
I
She's
know.
at a senior living, and they won't let her out. They won't let us in. And so we talked on the phone for a while.
But you called your brother, since y'all have the same birthday.
Yeah, my brother had the nerve to be born on my birthday when I was 2 years old. Now, I had to share my birthday with him all these years, but I didn't have to this past time. So anyway, but we're great brothers. However, we had a situation that Lisette loves to bake. She's a really good cook, and her food always tastes wonderful.
Oh, you're sweet, honey.
So anyway, she's making me a birthday cake, from scratch, and she's got all these materials and so forth. And so, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have a nice sized birthday cake, a regular birthday cake. And so I can't wait. And so anyway, she gets the birthday cake finished, and or at least she said she was finished. And I kind of looked at it and I went, where's the other half of the cake? Because it was like about this tall, right?
Yes, it's on Facebook.
And I thought, what happened to this?
He was envisioning his triple layer cake.
What happened to my cake, And I'm going, don't you need to build another layer? It was real funny. Our friend Bo, we came in. We were filming Bill and Kim Nash show, by the way, too.
Yeah, on Wednesday on your birthday.
BKNash.com. Anyway, so and then Bo walks in and he's looking at my cake and goes, "Where's the other half of the cake?" Oh no!
Oh no! I know he did say that.
Well, the thing is that I know that she has worked really, really hard, and also knew the cake is going to taste delicious.
Really good.
I knew that it was
really good.
However, it just didn't look so delicious.
Because in his mind,
yes,
you're used to a birthday cake,
a
triple
birthday
layer.
cake.
And I usually do my 8-inch rounds, which would, do the triple stack cake.
Right.
And then I have also these 9-inch pans. And I thought, well, this will make it rounder, not as tall. But knowing you, I should have done the triple layer. I think I upset him. But anyway, it was delicious.
Well, the thing
and then
is,
it didn't rise as high as I thought, because I used buttermilk instead of milk, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I used those different pans, and I'm sorry, honey, but it still tasted. I'm a very good baker. It turned out.
I had to not let myself go there and get angry over a cake. It's just a cake. Why would I do that? And I felt this pressure kind of building over me, and I felt my face getting red, and I'm going, stop it. Just stop it. You know, there's a compromise here someplace. And my compromise is, it doesn't matter what it looks like. First of all, it was made from love because she was doing something special to me.
Yep.
Next thing, I'm 1,000% positive it's going to taste great because I don't care what she does. It tastes wonderful every single time. We need our own cooking show because it's really funny.
It's funny
and
to
you never
watch
know
me in the
how
kitchen
things are going to
turn out.
And she puts more food on the floor than in the meal. Anyway, it's kind of funny. So anyway,
I am Lucy in the kitchen.
But I had to choose to have, all right, I'm going to compromise, and I'm going to say, all right, that is fine. Why don't we let's just move on, okay? I can't wait to have the company. I can't wait because after filming Bill and Kim Nash, then we're going to have a little party for Kirby, and which they did.
So, and they did.
So we had, Lisette and I, Bill and Kim, and then Bo, which helps out on the production of that set. So anyway, we all came together, but it's kind of funny. Bo walks in. Where's
the half of the cake? I was like, oh my goodness.
The thing is, though, as from the second they put their fork into it, and they saw how moist and how much chocolate was in there, and they put it in their mouth, all you heard was and
you're
they
sweet, honey.
melted, and it was so.
Oh, thank you, honey.
And it still is.
And still, I know. I had to stop eating it. Y'all know I'm gluten-free. I post all my gluten-free eating and salads, and then I'm like, okay, I ate it for a couple days, and then I had to cut it off.
Right. But I had to compromise in my mind.
Well, thank you, honey, because...
That was delicious, and thank you.
Thank you. And then when I take a cake to work, he's like, do you think they'll notice if there's a piece missing before you... I go, I think they're going to notice that, Kirby.
I just think it'd be hilarious to take one piece missing.
Do you think there's any left? So anytime, remember I make cakes for Maria for her birthday every year, and then she goes, so we're ready to cut the cake, and she always says, okay, we got to save a piece for Kirby, and she always makes sure I have one to take home to you.
Kind of funny, funny. And here I stay on a strict diet.
But
still, every once in a while, I got that metabolism cooking, and my health is great.
So what's your next scene,
The next one's called commitment.
Ooh, we're good at that one.
Yeah, that's where a lot of marriages fail, is the lack of commitment. Because if you go out and you cheat and you make that mistake, I know that we're attractive to other people. I understand that. I know I've been caught many times looking at other women, haven't I? I just look at them all the time, right?
You do not. You do? That's news to me.
See what I mean? So...
Wait a minute.
It's funny. Anyway, sometimes...
What show am I on?
I'm the most attracted to her. So, see, she doesn't even notice that. I might look at another woman. However, I'm with the best woman that's for me. Oh. That's what I know.
And men
so
are visual.
the reason why she
like
doesn't see me looking at others, because it's a glance and then I get back. So here's a blonde that walks by and I go, okay, thank you.
He loves blondes.
However... I've been married to a blonde before. Okay,
I'm the better.
Anyway, you are, and so the thing is I'm going. This is who I'm committed for. Okay, so
and commitment is a choice. I mean, things are going to go awry, and things are going to happen, and the stresses of life, and kids, and parents get sick, and bills, and but you just keep choosing to be committed.
Right. We can be attracted to other people. I understand that we're human beings. I know we're not perfect.
But you just don't have to act on that impulse.
There's a line that you can cross.
That's right.
And don't cross that line, because after you do, you lose respect for yourself, and you're more willing to go do that again and again and again.
That's right.
And then you become addicted to that. It's called a habit, and that's not a good habit to build quality relationships. And that's where the building materials start tumbling down.
Yep,
is when you go out and you're cheat and you're not faithful. Also, it's called loyalty.
Yep.
Right?
That's
commitment to the marriage, you've got to be loyal, because when you build loyalty, you build
Trust.
You build trust.
You got to have trust. Ooh.
Trust is huge because if you don't trust each other. I remember a relationship, I just didn't know when my spouse was going to come home. And I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm looking out the window, and then should I start calling the hospital? Should I start, where is she? You know, blah, blah, blah.
I know, I did the same thing.
And then I found out that
they were cheating.
Yeah,
I know, my ex-husband did too.
So that feels terrible. It just doesn't feel good. And I don't want to be the one in the relationship to make you feel terrible.
No, we've never done that to each other.
So it's where two people come together. We show support with each other. We brag on each other. We
really
make it
committed.
fun. We make it light. And we just don't cross those boundaries because every relationship must have boundaries.
That's right. And I call you. We've talked about that before, where I call you during the day. We always check on each other because I always say, okay, honey, are you coming home regular time? Regular time is 7. So normally, and if it's anything after that, I'm going to call him. I never leave you guessing.
No.
I don't ever leave anything unsettled like that because
neither one of us.
No, neither one of us does that to each other.
We always know where each other is.
And he goes, no, I'd rather you call me because I've been married to people that I didn't know where they were.
Right.
And I'd rather you let me know all the time. And you know where I am, especially now we're at home 24/7. But I even go look for you in the house.
Where's my Kirby?
Where's my Kirby? Because we love.
She does.
And I sit right next to you even at home, and it's like I haven't left your side since this quarantine started.
We can be around each other 24 hours a day. Not everybody can, but we can. In fact, we love it. If they were asking a question up for church this morning about what would you miss about quarantine? Oh, I'd be missing being around you 24 hours a day. Because I like to. Now, one person said, I may want that, but I know my spouse does, so she's ready to go.
But no, we really are committed to each other, and and very loyal. Yeah. Okay, what's your next?
You can too. Be a cheerleader. Cheer the other person on. Yes.
Cheer them on. So, I remember when you were writing your book, honey.
Oh, yeah.
And there were days where you're like, I don't know, it's not going well. I have writer's block, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And, and so, it's tough. So you just get behind your spouse and you encourage them and say, honey, you're a great writer. I know that we're going to get this thing published, and you're just going to keep going. And you did.
Right.
And you did. But we always find ways to encourage each other. Think of, like our church challenged us last Sunday, think of 5 things that you can do to say to encourage your spouse. And I thought, that's a good one. We should tell people.
They were doing that before you go to sleep at night.
Before you go to sleep at night, and tell them, okay, what are some 5 positive, encouraging things that you can say to your spouse?
Or even what you're grateful for.
What you're grateful for. Being grateful, we've talked about that. Attitude of gratitude goes such a long way, and you don't focus on your problems, but you focus on.
So one is down, the other's got to pick the other one up, and that's called cheerleading.
Yay.
Pick the other one up. There's times I just want to have a cheerleader. I just, be a cheerleader.
I'm a good cheerleader.
Please, we're gonna go through some emotional issues every once in a while. We all suffer from emotional scarring, and we covered that the last show. We talked about the paper and we wrinkled it all up.
Yeah.
And we all come with each relationship. If you haven't seen that show, go back and watch that. You'll see a little picture of the thumbnail of Lisette holding up a sheet of paper. Anyway, it talks about emotional scarring and how we come together in a relationship and what we bring to the relationship. So anyway, cheerlead, pick the other person up. When you're sick or something, I've been there. I'm helping you out. I'm doing all the cooking. I'm doing all the laundry. I'm doing everything I can to pick you up. If I'm down, you're doing the same thing.
We don't even think about it. We don't have to even ask the other person. Yeah. We just know it. We've done that even when we started dating.
Oh, I know. We've always
done that. It's just, I don't know. We fell right into it.
I guess because God put us together,
That's right? What's your last C?
Compliment.
Oh.
Compliment.
Well, I sure do like that shirt, Kirby. I like that color on you, honey.
Thank you. You bought it. That's why.
That's right. Well, no wonder I have good taste. No.
Compliment. There's, people, that makes you feel good when you receive a compliment.
It does.
It just does. And it's the way that you do it. It's got to be a sincere compliment. And while I like the way that jewelry looks with that shirt and how it matches your bracelet and
I
it
know
looks
you
so
gave
nice.
me this bracelet for my birthday.
So it not looks, it might be an action. Well, you made a great cake.
Well, it didn't look the way you wanted it to.
You made a terrific dinner. Wow, I like that.
Yeah,
it could be
anything. Any compliment that you can,
compliment. Wow, you vacuumed that house so good. I mean, look, I don't see anything. The carpet looks brand new. How did you do that?
How did you do that?
So, or wow, look at those wood floors. Look how they shine. How did you do that? Find a way. It's always there. It's always there.
Oh, yes, honey, you took out the trash. Thank you so much. I mean,
just the little things. It doesn't have to be
the
anything
major.
big.
Just recognize all those things that they're doing, that they wanted to look extra special for you, or,
And then what we both learned, the more you compliment, the more that person will do that.
That's right.
We talked about the dishwasher.
Yeah, the dishwasher thing. I was like,
So the more I will wash dishes in the bed, and she compliments me how well I did and how I do it better than her and all that, then I do more. So that's how you take and you cause that to work in the relationship's favor. No, I didn't say your favor. I said in the relationship's favor.
There you go.
Put favor on your relationship. It takes two people coming together, performing those same actions. So the 5 C's again is communication,
compromise,
commitment,
cheerleading,
and compliment.
Those are good 5.
Those are the 5 C's, easy to remember. And just think about, are you practicing those 5 C's to build value to your relationship?
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
All right, next thing we're going to move on, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here, okay?
Okay,
and
I'm
so
ready.
let's grab these. These are called pencils. And
These are pencils.
All right, Kirby, why do pencils, how could that be one of the building materials in building a relationship?
Okay, show me.
That's kind of interesting. Okay. There was a study that's done in 1988, and this person, the last name was Strack, and they did an experiment with pencils.
Okay.
And so what they did is they took a group of people and they showed funny cartoons. And so what happened is the first group, they made them take and put a pencil in their mouth like this. Well, that group, when they watched the cartoon, they didn't hear any laughing. And they noticed that people were starting to kind of go to sleep. People were a little bit fidgety. They had trouble staying focused and watching the show. And it's because, why? They had a sour look on your face. You do this. Mm-hmm. It seems like you have a sour disposition on this life, right?
Right.
And so that was one group of people. And then they had each person, they wanted, you had to fill out your survey, and how did you enjoy the show? Well, they did not get very good reviews at all. The next group, they brought them in. The pencil goes in between their teeth, like this. And they had to watch the thing like this. All right. Let me take this out so you can understand me. So they had people watch that, but guess what? You're smiling. Look at that. Your teeth are showing. It's just like that. Yeah. By the way, I did wash these pencils really good.
Thank you for washing them before we started.
We want to be germ-free. We're doing safety first here. But anyway, so you put it in your mouth and you smile. Okay. Well, the reviews were over the top. People were laughing. People were just, oh man, they were making all the great gestures and all that. And then the cartoon had great reviews.
Isn't that funny?
Because they were smiling. So what do these pencils have to do with this relationship?
Tell me.
Smile your relationship to success.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Smile. Yes, it could be. I know you can play. It's fun. So anyway, we're playful all the time. That keeps the relationship moving along just fine, and we have a lot of fun. However, you want a fun relationship, or you want a sour relationship? Are you going to walk around like this? Looks like you're walking around with one of those attitudes. Or you want to smile?
Yay! I like to smile.
Smiling pulls people in. Frowns push people away. I'm going to say it one more time. Smiles pull people in, frowns push people away. Because I know you don't want to be around a bunch of frowning people all the time. It's just not any fun. And you deserve a certain amount of fun. I do.
Right.
When you're smiling, you want to be around those type of people. It's just a lot easier, a lot lighter to be around happy people.
That's right.
So when it's just the two of us, would you rather me be frowning or do you rather me be smiling?
I'd rather you be smiling.
Why?
Because then I know you're happy and you're not frustrated about it.
That's right. Because it just seals a relationship. It's called happiness within our relationship. And it's called love, and it means it's called satisfaction. I'm satisfied. I love how our relationship is.
Because if you are frowning, I try to figure out a way to make you smile.
Also, it makes the relationship more fun. Isn't it good to have fun in the relationship?
Yeah.
Can you have fun if you're walking around like this? Unless you do that. We'll figure out a way to have fun no matter what.
Because we're always laughing.
That's what a relationship is about. You figure things out. When one is down, you find another way to put that smile on your face. Lisette goes out of her way to put a smile on my face. She does. You do all the time, don't you?
Yes, I do.
She loves to see me smile, and I like to smile.
You have a nice smile. Honey.
And so I didn't always have a good smile, and I remember those days, and I appreciate that I can even have a good smile now. So it's fun to smile. However, when it's just one of those building blocks or building materials in the relationship. So if we walk around smiling all the time, we're pulling each other in. Remember, because a smile pulls you in. I want to be pulling in Lisette all the time in this relationship, because if I start pushing her away, it starts falling apart. And we don't want to tear down the relationship. We want to build it up and continue to take our building materials and build on that firm foundation to carry the relationship forward.
That's
right.
That's exactly right.
So that is our show. That is it in a nutshell today.
Yay.
I want to hear from you. It's Kirby. Happy at KirbyLammers.com. So
yes,
happy at KirbyLammers.com.
We'd love to hear from you.
I want you to email us, and what I want you to explain to us in your relationship, how do you add value to the relationship?
There you go.
How do you add value to relationship? I just want to hear some of those. We'll read them on the air. We may just use your first name. We're not going to use your last name or pick on anybody or whatever. But what do you do to add value to relationship? And so I'm getting excited about it. I want to hear from these people.
We want to hear from them.
So anyway, I hope that you learned something with the 5 C's. That is kind of our funny stories. Some of the building blocks, these things called pencils.
Pencils.
And how that would work for you. So enjoyed having you today. We love you very much. We know God loves you, and keep watching. Share the videos with your friends, and let's have some fun with this. Okay.
All right.
And as always,
what we
do on our show, we go.
Mwah.